everyone, it's Masai Girl here. Welcome back to Trending Global. We're gonna talk about the responsibility of a man and the responsibility of a woman in a love affair relationship, or rather in a marriage. Thank you.
So, who should pay the bills? Rent, food, and everything?
Okay, are we talking about urban families or general African mother-father relationship?
In the cities.
In the cities. So this is my view, and I'm giving you my honest view. So according to me, if both the woman and the man are financially stable, they are earning a salary of between $1,000 up to $10,000. Those are the basic salaries that ranges between some stable people in our economy. So if both of them are earning, let's say, $1,000 each every month. So for me, I'll take it that they divide the roles. In the city, there is rent, there is electricity, there is food, and there is outing, weekend, going out with family. So for me, I feel like, because most of the time if you're in a family setup, you'll stay in a 3-bedroom house or 4-bedroom, which is rent between 45,000 Kenya shillings to 100,000 Kenya shillings. So I feel like if both of them are working, the man should pay rent, and then the woman should buy food and electricity and water, and then the outing they should cost share. That is my view.
Okay, so what benefits does the man get for taking more responsibility in the rent? And
there is no more responsibility there. As I said, if they're living in a house of 65,000 Kenya shillings, he has paid the rent. Food, remember, food is expensive in the city too. And food for a family is not cost 10 bob. You're going to do shopping of around 20,000. You're going to refill gas. You're going to pay water bills. Remember, in Nairobi, water bills are paid separate from rent. And that is almost the same equal amount. Plus, again, we are African. The African setup is a man should be the head of the family. That means man should contribute more than the woman. Actually, in an African setup, a woman should not contribute anything. But because we are civilized and we are all earning an income, why will I let my husband go through the trouble alone? It's just lovely and humanly to help him with paying some cost.
And who makes the final decision in an African home?
Father, a boyfriend, a man, a brother.
Why? Because
that is what the Bible says. Men should be the head of the family. That means they should make final decision, emergency decision, precisely major decision that can influence the next step of your life. But it is important that you negotiate with your partner before you finalize. If, for example, we want to open a business, you tell your wife, this is the proposal, I want to implement it, and this is the location I want to set up the business. So your wife can also give you her ideas pertaining the business, and then you come at a point that this is the perfect decision. And now you tell her, I'm going to implement some of your ideas in mine, and this is the final decision. It's not okay that you are in a marriage whereby you're sharing the same bed, the same bed sheets, the same everything. You're sharing your fluids. And then when it comes to decision, one person makes. I just feel like in a marriage or in a love relationship, you should be communicating with each other about the small things in life and the big things in life.
Okay. What about dowry?
Dowry.
Should men still pay dowry? Because
Yes.
these days you can divorce easily. So
okay, in African setup, and especially in the Maasai community, you pay your dowry for your 20 women, whether you're still living with them or whether you just married them, they gave birth to your one kid and they go, because that is the tradition.
What if they don't give you kids?
It doesn't matter. The process is you don't become a father before you become a husband. You're getting my point? You first become a husband. That means you go through the cultural passage of right. You have to go to the family, request for a hand for your wife, you pay the dowry, and then you marry the woman, and then now, if she's barren, that is the way things happen. Maybe that is just her, that is how she was created. But you can't entirely blame someone she didn't give birth, because we don't control what happens within our bodies.
So smart men should go and take a test if she's barren.
No, that's not allowed. That's against our ancestral spirit, and they'll come and haunt you at some point of your life. Why are you laughing?
Okay, so you think it's still good culture to follow?
Yeah, it's good culture. Like for me and our culture, you have to follow. You have to go to my parents and tell them, I love you, girl, and I think we are compatible, and I need her the rest of my life. And in our community, over 10 suitors can go to my family and say the same one. Then my parents will weigh all of them. They'll have their favorites, and of course, because at the moment we are civilized, we are in the 21st century, they will inform me. They'll say so and so and so and so came, but as your parents, so and so and so are top of the list, and now it's your turn. Who is your guy? Then I'll choose the one that I'm in a relationship with, or rather the one that we're in love. And then the rest of the guys will be told, we're sorry, the girl loved one of you. Of course, you can't get married to 10 of them. And then now the guy will you start the process of dowry payment. Then after dowry payment, we do the traditional wedding.
What's the process of dowry payment in your community?
Process of dowry payment in our community, you take different families have different demands, but I'm going to tell you the standards. You take sugar, you take tea leaves, you take beer, 4 crates of beer, 4 crates of soda, and that is 3 times that you're going to visit. You carry those things, and then you take 10,500 for my aunts every time you're going to visit, and then you take 70 heads of kettles. The traditional kettles.
How much?
And then the modernized kettles, you take
how much?
2 of them.
70.
Yeah, the traditional ones.
70.
The one that have tall horns and they have 1 cup of milk.
70.
Yes.
Who's going to afford this? 70
because
cows.
Masais can afford.
This is ridiculous.
And then when you have modern cows, you take 22.
No, let's just do the maths here. 70.
Stop arguing. You ask me a question and I'm answering.
Okay, I'm just making sure the listeners know what you're saying. 70 cows. 1 cow is around 45k.
I have said 70 traditional cows and 22 modern
right.
cows.
So that's actually 90 cows.
No, if you have traditional cows, you take at least 70. Remember, there are people who take up to 200. So don't forget that. Right. And then if you have modern cows, that is crossbreed, you take only 22.
Okay, so if you don't have the traditional cows, you just take the 22.
Yeah, for hybrid. Because the hybrid, their cost is high. They're the one that goes 45,000, 70,000. But the traditional cows are 12,000, 15,000, 20,000 at most.
Okay. So if you don't have them, they only make you pay 20.
22 for the crossbreed.
Crossbreed.
Yeah. And these cows, they must not be cows that have given birth. They must be fresh cows. And a big bull which has a hump. And you take 3 sheep which are also holy. Because our culture is very holy. It's the biblical Israelites culture. So you don't dare to destroy us.
So Masais were Israelites?
Yes. We are the remnant of the Israelites. You remember 2016 when the Israelites president came and he told the government of Kenya that they want to take us back, like we'll be Kenyans but under their territory, because the government was not giving us spaces in cabinet secretary. And then from then things have changed. At least they are giving us at least 1 cabinet secretary, 1 PS and 1 assistant cabinet secretary. Remember? Yeah, because we are part of that.
Okay, so this is a lot of money still. 22 cows going
It's not
for
okay for us. Let me tell you,
$400
the Maasai don't value money. If you've noticed, my parents have a lot of land, but they don't have cars. You get it? For us, cows is important than the money you are translating it. So it's just a culture.
Okay, what if a
And
non-Maasai?
again, you should know you can't take money to replace the cows.
So what if
It
a non?
is disrespectful to take the money and say, oh, I did a math and it totaled to 10 million, so this is the money. My parents will actually throw the money on fire and tell you go bring or do it.
What about if you're non-Maasai, you don't have the cows?
You have to follow the culture. Culture is bigger than everyone. You follow the Maasai culture. Just the same way our men who might marry someone from another tribe, they'll have to respect that culture. They won't carry the Maasai culture there. They will respect them. Like the Kisi culture. The Kisi culture is 3 cows, 1 goat, and a big sufuria and ugali for Wimbi. Wimbi ugali. And if you don't take ugali for Wimbi, you're not giving the wife. So you see, different cultures.
So basically, you could end up paying $10,000 just for the cows. That's a lot of money.
No, we're talking about cows. Whatever you want to translate the cows to, it's none of my community business. As we want cows, we don't want money.
But isn't that why then your community is behind? Because they don't understand how to value their money.
We will catch up. We are catching up as we speak. So things are going to change. But the fact is, we are not going to leave. We are going to let go some bad traditions. But traditions like Dori, they're not bad. Tradition like FGM are the ones that we're letting it go. But Dori no. Dori is not bad. Polygamous is not bad. Yeah, living in Ujamaa setup is not bad either. So we're going to leave bad cultures to go. But the good ones, we're going to maintain it.
Okay, so FGM, have you left it behind now?
Yeah, FGM used to be 100% in Maasai land. At the moment, it's 30%. So yes, every time we are gradually walking away from it. Do you know, as we speak, the Kuria community are the one at 70% and the Somali community in Kenya, not Maasai. But because of our rich culture, most people who do statistics will always say, oh, Maasai. But the fact in the ground is Kuria are the leading in Kenya, and then the Somalis of Kenya, and then we come third.
What about Kisses? Have they left that culture?
Kisses have not. They still do FGM, but the difference is Kisses do FGM when a child is very small, like 8 years, 9 years. They don't even remember. But us, we do FGM when someone is a teenage, so they have the
coming of age ceremony. Yeah,
like the purpose of FGM in our community was to serve only 2 things. Was to transition a girl to a woman. That means after FGM, you're going to get married. And number 2 was to reduce the sexual urge, because during that time, our community used to move from one place to another, and majorly it was men who would go with cows or cattle to look for water. So if your husband is going for 6 months, if you are circumcised, the level of sexual urge is minimal compared to someone who is not. So those were the 2 purposes FGM was serving in our community. But as you speak now, most Maasai are stationed in the same place. So there is no longer men going for long distance. And there is education. We are embracing education step by step. So at least when at the age of teenage, someone is in class 7, 8, form 1, form 2. So they are not just in the village waiting to get married. So that is where you've seen we are very positive that it should be offered, because the 2 activities which they were serving FGM are getting completely finished.
Were you circumcised?
That's personal. And I'm not going to answer it. It's up to you to judge for yourself.
Okay, so do you like monkey double backflips? Do you like monkey double backflips?
What are you talking about?
Okay. So when it comes to having a successful modern relationship, where should the money be saved? How are you going to organize finance in your family?
Successful modern relationship. A successful modern relationship is built on things outside money, to be honest. Number one is when there is full trust between the two parties. And trust means that I know you do the right thing with your space when I give you. That means that if you go to work, most works in Kenya end at 5, and you tell me, hey babe, I'm going to hang out with the boys. I trust you fully that you're not going to have some hoes around you. You're going to spend our children money with them. So it begins with trust, honesty, and transparency. Once there is that, then success will fall in place because you know the amount of money I get, I know the amount you get, and we bring it in the table and say, hey, we have 10,000 Kenya shillings, rent is going to be 2,000, food is going to be 1,000, emergency is going to be 1,000, we are remaining with 2,000, what can we do with it? So like, you are open to each other and there is no secrecy that, hey, if my wife knows that I'm investing this money on this, she'll start having drama, or if my husband knows. No, once you have that full trust and transparency with each other, I think success just blooms up because you are thinking towards the same direction and you are thinking with the same goal, because at the end of the day, you have the same kids. Why will you hide from each other? And this is the inheritance of your children, for God's sake.
What about men who cheat? Is it wrong for a man to cheat with a whore? Not another woman, not an affair, but just a whore.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's wrong for anyone to cheat.
But would you hold it against a husband? Would you break up with him for cheating with whores? Not another relationship.
In our culture, yeah, if you're married and your husband starts seeing another woman, they're usually very honest. And before they even sleep with the woman, they will tell you that I'm seeing some girl, I think I love her, and I think I'll marry her. So in our culture, there's no space for, what do you call, adultery. If you love some woman out of wedlock, just marry her. And I urge every tribe in Kenya and Africa to adopt the same. It really reduces a lot of unnecessary cost and diseases. Because if I'm your wife, you've married me for 10 years and you feel like you're seeing some young girl who is younger than me, you just be honest, because I'm your wife. I've wifed you 10 years, we have kids together. I know everything about you, you know everything about me. Why will you want to hurt me just because you've developed an interest? It's just fair enough and it's mature enough, and it's also the ruling love, that you be honest with the partner and tell them, hey babe, I think I'm seeing some young girl and I think I love her. And because I don't want to hurt you, I want her to be part of our family. It's just that simple. And that is why you see the Maasai community have managed, polygamous in our community have been so nice. You can't actually know me and my step siblings that we are not from the same mother, because we don't hate each other. Because our mothers don't hate each other. Because our dad was honest enough to say, hey, I think I'm seeing someone else. I haven't slept with them, but I want them to be part of the family. So that is how to reduce infidelity, HIV, AIDS, irresponsible families, because the way you're going to behave is how your children will learn. You know, children learn in darkness. And they'll come and say, Daddy used to do it. I think it's the right thing. No, we want to raise responsible generations and better ones than us, not worse than us. Yes, so that men in Kenya and Africa and whichever sphere that you're looking at this, if you've seen a young woman, the new wife, be honest enough, talk about it and marry them both. I've told you polygamy is right. Even in the Bible, King Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. Just marry them. Don't do infidelity. It's not right. Don't do adultery. Don't bring HIV/AIDS to your wife who has never slept with anyone, and just because you're a man you went and slept with people out there, and then you make your children total orphans. It's not right.
What about this new rise of these pointies, this mixed-raced Maasai man and Mzungu, a white woman? Why are white women so obsessed with Maasai men? She'll leave her perfect country, Norway, where she has all the freedoms, that she could ever want from feminism to go to a dusty country, to go to a country in Africa like Kenya or Tanzania to find a Maasai man? What's the obsession with Maasai men?
Because first of all, they come and they get married a second wife.
So
they are just proving my point that polygamy is the talk of the day. It's actually so nice that when you are on your monthly period, your man won't suffer if he has sexual urge. There's another woman to sort him out. And also there's shared responsibility. When a man has 2 women or 3, he's at peace more than the one with 1 wife. Because he has peace of mind because these women are competing for him in the first place. Competing for love. Like you want to give your husband the full satisfaction of love, of sex, of care and concern. Because you're many. But if you want, most of the time, you'll feel so sugary, like he doesn't have another option because I'm the only woman here. That's why you'll find another option of a prostitute out there. But if he has 2, there's a balance check. And if you sit down and see, most men, the old men, like the age of my dad and above, they're 89, 90. They lived longer compared to this generation who are marrying one. Ask yourself why. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome again, and kindly, if you haven't subscribed to the channel.